Although conservative James A. Baker III and Democrat John Dingell make good points over what Americans should do considering a unity of acceptance over gun control, there appear to be a few flaws in the plan, which are stopping their argument from making solid points. My main point of disagreement here is that there is not enough evidence or data to support the fact that makes these 4 guidelines that they used work. Each and every one of them is way too broad. For such a huge issue in America, these 4 guidelines, although a nice thought, are not solid enough to substantiate a reasonable, realistic decision on what to do. Their first claim, or their first guideline, is any legislation that is suggested should be broad-gauged. And I feel like there isn't enough time or resources to have a single solution and a single product for every single American out there that is considered unfit for a gun. And they also go into video game and TV violence. And according to D.B. Kopel's Guns and Who Should Have Them, it's not so much the video game and TV violence that is influencing young people to purchase guns and harm people. It's male oppression, poor family life, poor social life, etc. And the entertainment violence that we see so often in society does not play as crucial a role to actual gun violence as Dingell and Baker seem to think. In their second claim, any approach demands bipartisan support. They say that both parties, Democrat and Republican, can come together and ultimately have an agreement on gun control. And even though these 2 men have, I feel like the viewpoints as a whole with both of these parties are way too different to make such a broad solution to the problem here. The Democratic viewpoint for gun control is the right to own firearms is subject to reasonable regulation. They want to reauthorize the assault weapons ban and close the gun show loophole and strengthen gun control to reduce violence. And the Republican viewpoint is that they want the right to obtain and store ammunition without registration, open more public land to hunting, no frivolous gun lawsuits, no gun licensing, and they will protect the right to bear arms. These are just way too different opinions here to come together under those opinions. And their third claim is that common sense should prevail. We must get away from a mindset that has owners of firearms worried that they are going to take our guns away. Our nation has regulated various kinds of arms throughout history and done so without violating the Second Amendment. We have, for example, restricted ownership of fully automatic weapons and grenade launchers. The fact that the government has restricted certain types of weapons makes it clear that the Second Amendment actually has been violated, which is a contradictory statement here. So in conclusion, Dingell and Baker's guidelines for gun control are just not as thorough as it could be. Their idea to merge the 2 parties together is a nice thought, but again, there should be more evidence, data, reason that can go into this, especially when it seems so unlikely. Democratic and Republican viewpoints are completely different, and more than just a statement to merge these opinions together has to be done. And another disagreement here is the video game TV violence statement they make a couple of times in the article. Now, as I said, out of the evidence given in Kopel's article about male oppression, poor family life, the entertainment violence that we see so often does not play as crucial a role as these 2 men seem to think. And the third disagreement is that one of their guidelines is contradictory. They say that the Second Amendment will inevitably give Americans their right to bear arms. And the question is why they chose to list out weapons that were illegal for Americans to carry and use, thus creating a contradictory statement. And they could have been more specific in that instance.